One of the things I love to do here at the Topher Project is to bring attention to people that are making a difference, actually doing something. It's so easy for us all to say, well, someone should do something, but it takes a special kind of person to say, well, I'll be that someone and I'll do something. And not everyone's out there to change the world. Some people, in fact, I think the best people are just out there to change the world for as many people as they can, recognizing they can't save the world from itself, but they can make the world a better place for other people if they work hard and try. And my guest is Craig Stevens. He is one such person who is changing the worlds of some individuals in a very unique and interesting way. He joins me now on the Topher Project. Craig, thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you, Topher.
Now, before I haven't given away what it is that you're doing, and I wanted to hear it from your mouth because it on the face of it, it sounds crazy. But basically, you are rescuing human slaves by playing ping pong. Can you join the dots for me?
Okay, well, what we do is we have a 24-hour marathon. Every pong event varies a little bit, but basically that's how it works.
Sorry to interrupt this interview with Craig Stevens. We'll get back to that very shortly. My name is Topher Field. This is the Topher Project, and I love doing videos like this, talking to people who are making a difference in whatever way that means for them. So can I really urge you, there is a link in the description where you'll be able to financially support Craig Stevens and his whole team there doing this Pong fundraiser, helping to end human slavery, perhaps not end the practice of human slavery, but at least end it for some individuals as they support various groups that find ways to go and rescue those people out of slavery. And we're going to talk a bit more about how that works a little bit later in the interview. But also, if you appreciate having an Australian outlet like the Topher Project, where I bring you stories like this and I shine my little spotlight onto people who are making a difference as often as I possibly can, then please consider also supporting the Topher Project. You can do that by buying me a coffee via the button at topherfield.net, and you can also do that by checking out my books, my DVDs, and my merch at goodpeoplebreakbadlaws.com. There's my books on civil disobedience, the theology of civil disobedience, as well as my DVD documentary, Battleground Melbourne, T-shirts, hoodies, and a whole bunch more, all available at goodpeoplebreakbadlaws.com. And everything you buy will help me to keep the Topher Project going so that I can keep bringing you stories like this one about Craig and his church in Corryong and how they're using ping pong to save lives and save people out of slavery around the world. Let's get back to that interview.
And a group, well, we participate. We do ours on a Friday and Saturday, and
right.
Just get a hoop, and you get sponsors to sponsor you through. And our group has actually been blessed by an anonymous sponsor that's given us, or donor, sorry, that's been there since year dot and has encouraged us. But the ping pong is you just play ping pong together for a 24-hour period. Some don't. I've done it for the last 3 years, and it's a good sleep Saturday night.
So I'm mindful of things that I used to do as a kid. There was the 40-hour famine. There was the MS Readathon. There were these various events, and I used to go and knock on doors and ask people to sponsor me for each book that I read, or to sponsor me for each hour of the fast, and these sorts of things. Are people sponsoring you for each hit of a ping pong ball? How does kind of the sponsorship model and the support model work?
Well, that would be a good option. I think $1 a hit. That'd be great. But most of the people that sponsor you for the period. They'll say, I've got $20, $100, $200.
Yeah.
I think the best one we've had is $2,500 or $3,000 as a donation.
Wow.
So it's a thing. If it grabs your heart and you know what you're doing it for,
yeah,
it might sound quirky hitting a ping pong ball, but it does. Hits a note with people. So they've raised a lot of money over the time. We've raised $62,000 in the 10 years that we've been doing for a small church and small community.
Right. Wow.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about what the money is for. You mentioned there, if it grabs your heart, what's your heart in all of this, and where does this money go? How does it make a difference, and who is it making a difference for?
Well, it's in South Asia countries. We've got about, you got me on hop. There's about 8 partners, but you can check the website for that. 8 partners that we sponsor, and there's one in Australia as well, called Her Space, which is there is slavery in Australia, so that sort of does shock people when they hear that. But but what happens? We raise the money, it goes to what would you call it? Pong Central, I suppose, and and they support the groups that we help. Hard Places Cafe, they help them by buying restaurants and training them, getting them. This is for male prostitutes that they move them through, so change what they can do to make a living.
Yeah.
Because in those countries, it's a from birth to death slave situation. The parents need to get an income somehow, and their children are some of the ways that they can figure out that they can get out.
It's
sad.
quite shocking. It is quite shocking, and according to people that study these things, they believe that there are more slaves in the world today than there have been at any other time in history. And we have this idea that slavery has been abolished because we can't see the slave trade anymore. It doesn't happen in London and in America and so forth. But unfortunately, it does happen, and it happens on quite literally an industrial scale, human trafficking and slavery. So there is no pathway out for these slaves. So how is it that these charities are able to kind of give these people a pathway out? How do you do that when, from a legal perspective and a cultural perspective in a lot of these countries, it's a done deal? There is not supposed to be a way out for these people.
That's true. The people on the ground befriend them while they're in their job, and then once they realise that they're being a friend, they can explain that there are other options. And then that's the way. Sometimes I think they have bought them out of the slavery, and then they go into an education program where it's not just bang, bang, and off you go. It's educate them so that they own their life again, basically. Yeah. There was a story I was going to share with you, but I can't remember it now. But yeah, so sorry.
There's the physical slavery that they have, obviously, of how they're being treated, but there's also the slavery of the mind. If this is the only life that these people have known since they were very, very young, there's a halfway house that's needed. There's years, really, of life skills and perspective and attitudes and agency that they need to learn. I'm often, as I look at the world and as I try and make a difference, you meet various people and they have certain opinions of themselves about who they would have been in various historical contexts. Most people believe that if they'd been in Europe during World War II, they would have been against the Nazis. If they'd have been in the South during the American Civil War, they would have been helping the slaves to escape, etc. And my challenge to everyone watching this is, if that's your self-perception, and it should be that you would have been on the right side of history at those moments, you have the opportunity to be on the right side of history right now, because unfortunately those problems, that kind of oppression and that kind of slavery is very much with us here today. Craig, how can people get behind you guys? How do they sponsor you? How do they find out more about the event? The majority of the money, believe it or not, is raised in that 24-hour period of ping pong. Sure. You do get a bit of a lead in, and that's always a bonus. But during the 24 hours, people know that you're doing it, and it'll pop up. The score, which is the total, will be very low, and next thing you're up at 5,000, and we're just really grateful that people do support us. But we've got there's a website, Ping Pong A Thon, and depending on the event you want to, which is Corryong for us, you type in Corryong, and then you can choose. You can either give it to a group that's participating in areas. I think we've got the Midnight Madness or Midnight Warriors or something like that. So it's there's some good conversations that happen there because you're a bit sleep deprived, and so you just don't know where you end up. But there's normally a stalwart of 6 or 8 people there. I'll be putting the link to that website in the description of this video, so anyone that wants to support, and I really encourage you to do so, even just a small amount of money. I love people that do something to make a difference, and I really, it's so important that people get behind, even if it's only a small thing. Please get behind Craig and all these people up at Corryong that are doing this, and I'll put the link to the website, like I said, so that you can find him. One last thing before I let you go, Craig, you've found a bit of a creative way to try and spread the word and get the word out about this. I'm led to believe that is unofficially the largest ping pong paddle in the world, sitting there on a trailer being towed by what I presume is your ute.
Correct. Yes. We got the specs for the largest ping pong bat, and yes, we're bigger, but we're not going to pay the Guinness Book of Records for for the right to have that. But it was just come up as an idea, and we just thought, oh, why not do it? And if you've met my wife, you know she's a bit of a firebrand, and if you have an idea, it's going to happen. So there was 4 or 5 blokes got together on an afternoon, and we put this together, and it's out the front of our church, and it's really just signifies what a small community can do, and we're just I'm just really blessed by the church community that has got back and supported us year in, year out, and the Corryong community itself as a whole.
Look, I think it's fantastic. I think this ping pong paddle is the very embodiment of go big or go home. You really took that to heart. You certainly went big. You've gone big in terms of your fundraising, $62,000 over the journey so far, with more to come this year, and making a very real difference in the lives of people that don't have a lot of friends out there. There's not a lot of people out there really trying to reach these people and perhaps give them a better future. But the people that you're supporting and fundraising for are doing exactly that. I wish you all the very best, Craig, in this fundraiser. I will put the links in the description of this video. I encourage everyone watching to get behind you, Craig. And thank you so much for coming on the Topher Project.
Well, thank you for having me, Topher. It's a pleasure.
Thank you so much for watching my interview with Craig Stevens. Do please check out the link in the description of this video and support him and his crew as they continue to raise money for this very, very important cause. And also please consider supporting the Topher Project, because this is what I do, bringing you stories, news and perspective, and helping you to understand what's happening in the world as it changes around you. So if you'd like to support me and help me to keep doing what I do, then please do that by heading over to topherfield.net and buying me a coffee via the button that you'll find there. And also head over to goodpeoplebreakbadlaws.com, grab a copy of my books, grab a DVD, and grab some merch, some hoodies and some t-shirts, some long sleeve tees as well while you're there. And everything you buy will be helping me to keep the Topher Project going. Thank you so much for watching all the way to the end. The algorithm loves you, and so do I. Please like, comment, subscribe, share so that more people find out about this fundraiser and this Ping Pong A Thon, and therefore we can help them to make that really successful this year. And as always, think free.